Woman who's on winding road, with stories deep and hearts that glow. She's been the boss, she's been the flame. She's more than titles, more than names. So pull up a chair, come join the show. Let's talk the highs, the hurt, the glow. She's got the mic and we've got the night. Let's live out loud, let's get it right.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Tox Drop. I'm your host, Maggie McIntyre, and today's guest is someone I've worked with for 8 years. She's a doctorate-level nurse practitioner, an incredible provider, and one of the most steady and kind humans I know. This is Beth. She is an aesthetics nurse at Rejuva-ladies Med Spa, and she is also a full-time ICU nurse at a level 1 hospital in Northern Virginia. So guys, let's talk today about all things COVID, kidnapping, yes, I said that, kidnapping, and what life is looking like for Beth as she enters her 50th year. So guys, join me and let's drop in. All right, Beth, welcome to the show. How does it feel to be here?
A little bit nerve-wracking, but excited at the same time.
What is the most nerve-wracking thing? I mean, you save lives for a living, truly. So
Yes.
How does this compare with that?
I think, when we're saving lives at the hospital, it's a group effort.
Okay.
It's not just me. So I'm never just like singled out. And I think in this setting, I almost feel like it's eyes on me, and
That's true. They're not going to say, did she wear a cute outfit when she saved that life today?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
But today you are wearing a cute outfit.
Thank you.
So you're good. You're good. Well, I'm really excited to have you here and really appreciate you taking the time, because between your full-time job doing that and your work with us, you don't have a ton of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get into, there's so much to discuss, and I'm really hoping that we have enough time to get through everything. But if not, we'll just have to have you back another season for sure. But I want to jump into COVID for you. What people may not know is that patient zero for COVID, when it came to patient zero in Virginia, was right in the Northern Virginia area, and it was at your hospital, and you were one of their care providers.
Correct.
So talk to me about that day, that moment, and that period of time for you as an ICU nurse.
Yes.
You hadn't finished your NP at that time, correct?
No.
So you are in, okay. So you're really in the thick of it, and talk to me about what was going on with you and everything around you during that time. Take us back.
Sure. So I remember this patient was admitted to our ICU unit without violating HIPAA. It was just a gentleman who had been traveling to, I don't remember what they called it back then, but areas of high concern,
Mm-hmm.
high exposure. So, he came to our unit. There was a little bit of a concern if he could or could not have COVID. But during that time, testing was, it was a big to-do. We had to call a different entity to see if we can even get the test. Then they had to get us the test, send off the test. And I think at the time we were calling it persons of interest, like POI.
Uh-huh.
But, as the day went on, multiple staff members were exposed to him. And
were you guys wearing masks at this time?
We were wearing masks, and then we were wearing masks later on, but not initially. So, at the end of the day, come to find out, he was high risk of having it. Everybody that was exposed to him, basically, when your shift was done, you were sent home or wherever,
Mm-hmm.
and you were not allowed to come back for 2 weeks.
Mm.
And during that time, I think this was, like 6 years ago.
That's crazy. It's been 6 years.
Yeah. Where we were being followed by the health department. They would call us every single day to see how we were doing, possibly even shipping out supplies if we needed it. And so we left that day. The unit was quiet. Everybody knew there was an exposure. I think there was 10 to 12 employees who had to take this mandatory 12 to 14 days out of work. at that time, what was I doing but watching the news every single day? And, I remember hearing about all the nursing and doctors, other healthcare providers that were dying in Europe and in Asia treating this. And I just thought to myself, wow, what if I got it? And what if, I get so sick and I die as well?
Right.
So I remember calling my oldest son to, talk to him about it and to prepare him that if something happens to me that, my number one concern at the time is I had 2 dogs and I needed him to come get the dogs. So we, it's crazy to think that I was in my, I guess, early 40s,
Yeah.
right? Maybe early to mid 40s.
Sure.
And I had to make this planning and conversations with my, he was in his 20s.
Right.
And it was scary.
Did you end up getting it at that time?
Not at that time, but
Okay.
I did get it within the first 2 months
of
COVID.
Did anyone else, I don't know how much, of course, you can say, but did anybody else get sick? Did any of the other providers that had been working and been in contact with him get it?
I think 1 or 2
Okay.
got really sick. I was lucky I did not get sick.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I had it and I just didn't know. Because in May, I did test positive for having antibodies. So I
Sure.
was exposed. Just don't quite know when
you had it.
exposure happened.
Because you were symptom free pretty much.
Correct.
Did he make it through or did he pass?
He made it through long term, but
Uh-huh.
at some point in time he did pass.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So after leaving the hospital or while in the hospital?
I don't think he ever left the hospital.
Okay. Wow. It's wild that 6 years ago, the COVID we had now, of course it does what these, viruses and, illnesses tend to do. And they evolve so that they are a bit less deadly and can last and host longer
Right.
as a result. But just to think that where we were 6 years ago, not knowing, being literally, you were literally on the front line and the first in Virginia. So I can only imagine that your mind was just wondering, or wandering, I should say, what's going to happen to me if I get this? And because you really didn't have any answers. None of us did at the time.
Right.
Yeah. Do you think that particular experience changed something in you, either as a practitioner or just as a person? Do you think it had long-lasting effects on you?
I don't know if it changed me so much as a practitioner or as a person, but I remember one specific patient that was there. He was a gentleman in his 40s. I think he was our first death from COVID. And again, it happened within the first, 2 to 3 weeks maybe. But during that time, we were not allowing family members to go in. We did everything we could for this person, and he just was not going to survive. And I remember this person died alone.
Yeah.
And staff members, all we could do was stand outside of the room and watch him die. That was hard.
Yes.
I think no one should die alone.
I remember the earlier days of HIV and AIDS, the same kind of thing happened.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. I would agree with you. But yeah, when you don't know how it's spreading necessarily and how to treat it and how to stop it.
Yeah.
But there's so many situations like that, so many stories like that. So that's going to be really, really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, getting into this, how did you get into nursing to begin with? I mean, here we are now. You've gone from that. I mean, you've been at Rejuvalase. I know you took a hiatus during COVID because, of course, even with the landscape of our business changed for a while, and you had so much going on. But you'd been working with us a little bit before COVID happened, and then, of course, came back on once things settled down. But so you're in 2 different nursing worlds, when you're there and when you're with us. But how did you get into nursing to begin with?
So nursing was not on my radar when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I wanted to do, but I don't think nursing was a thing that is talked about in Europe.
Right.
It's not a career that people are looking to do. My family have been on, they're business owners. And so I probably always thought I would do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But make this quick. We had a neighbor, and she was elderly, I think in her 80s. And my mother always offered my brothers and mine services to her to go buy her groceries, to check in on her. And, at the age of 12 or 13, no one wants to come home from school to go to an 80-year-old woman's house to, I don't know, maybe do some light cleaning and grocery shopping. And I think one time I must have complained. And my mother said, one day you're going to move away. You and your brother are going to move away. You guys are going to have your own lives. And I'm going to be here by myself. And wouldn't you want somebody to help me if I needed it? And I thought about it, and, you don't think of your parents of being old.
Right. When you're younger, they live forever.
Yeah. So I was like, whatever. But I remember as I got older, sure enough, I moved here to the United States. My brother also moved away from my mom for a little bit. And then I thought, wow, like if something does happen to my mom, I can't just hop on an airplane and get home and assist. At the same time, I was a waitress, and I just knew that I needed a career. Right. And so the people that I was waitressing with, the majority of them being maybe 5 or 6 years younger than I was, they were in school for nursing. Okay. And so they talked about the hours and how many opportunities there are for nurses, and that it's good for when you have children too, because it's flexible hours. And I thought, well, that's what I need. I had young kids, and then that came back, of when I went to nurse, or I started nursing school. I thought, oh, this is how I can give back. This is, if my mother was sick, how would I want this provider to take care of my mom? So I always approached any patients that I saw of, if this was my child, how would I want them to be treated? If this was my mother, how would I want this person to be treated? So I think it was that kind of pushed me into nursing, and it's been great.
Well, you talked about living in another country, and you talked specifically about Europe. So let's talk about that. So we'll go back to the childhood. So there was a little bit of that caretaker experience, and what would I want my family, or how would I want my family to be treated? Those thoughts kind of come pouring back as you're, beginning your nursing career. Yes. But let's take it back further, sort of really to the beginning of all of this. Yeah. So you've got a very interesting childhood, and I will say I will never forget, and you probably won't either. It was so damn funny. We went on a staff trip to Nashville, and unfortunately, a lot of our staff trips Beth is unable to go to because she is a little workhorse, and she's always working in the ICU a lot of weekends, which is when we do a lot of our staff trips. And so I'm really want to get you on one this year. And she's been able to do some more things recently, which has been so much fun. But I remember I was in Nashville, we had the group together, we're getting ready to go out, and I'm talking to Miranda, and she says something about when Beth lived in France. And I was like, what? And this is like 2 years ago. I was like, what? And she said, yeah, when Beth lived in France, or Beth speaks French. It was something along those lines. And I go, wait, what? And I was like, how have I worked with her for 6 years and don't know this about her? So I just decided, I don't know if I'd had a couple drinks or something, but I decided, I was like, I've got to find out. I'm blown away by this. I didn't know Beth was French. And so I called Beth, and you picked up, and you were really worried. You were like, what's wrong?
I was working. I knew you guys were
I didn't know you
trip.
were.
That's okay. And when I got the phone call, I was like, oh man, something bad must have happened, and they need some kind of nursing medical advice. Yeah. So I was able to pick up the phone, and that was funny.
Yeah. And I was like, I had no idea. I'm sorry to bother you at work. I just am blown away. Yeah. I was like, I don't even know what to say, because I've worked with you for so long, and how did you keep this so private?
Yeah.
Okay, let's be real. We all want that fresh, glowy skin that looks like we've been sleeping 8 hours a night and drinking green juice. Even when, if you're like me, you've been swapping that green juice for Coke Zero, and you're getting more like 5 hours of sleep instead of 8. Well, that's where our medical spa, Rejuvalase Med Spa, comes in. We do everything from relaxing facials to laser treatments, body contouring, injectables, and biostimulation. The team at our medical spa really listens to you and customizes treatments based on your goals, your lifestyle, and your budget. If you've been thinking about giving your skin a little love or a big transformation, be sure to check us out at rejuvalasemedspa.com or feel free to stop by. You deserve to feel confident and radiant, and Rejuvalase Med Spa makes it easy. Trust me, your future glowing self will thank you. So that being said, even I didn't know that until about 2 years ago. So you grew up in France, and talk to me, when you think of home, is France home to you?
I think of home where my mom is.
Okay.
So
and you've got 2 moms, so talk about that. Yeah.
Yes. So my mother, she left Vietnam when I think she was maybe 2 months pregnant with me, and my brother was 2. And her dad is French, so she was born in Vietnam, but is a French citizen. And the marriage to my biological father just was not great. It was, I think, the end of wartime. And it's funny, but, I get these stories a little bit from my mom, a little bit from my aunts, and when my grandmother was still alive, a little bit from my grandmother. And I kind of had to piece my mom's story together and then my childhood together. But
patchwork.
It is. It's like patchwork. And it's funny. My mom was, I think she was 22, didn't speak French, only spoke Vietnamese. And it's like she had to ask her mom for permission to leave the country, to leave her husband, which is not something you did back then. And my grandmother, being a rock star that she is, she knew that my mother was not in a great situation, and she gave her the permission to leave.
Pregnant. That's crazy.
And pregnant. And, I was an unplanned and unwanted pregnancy. So during that time, I think my mother even asked if she should terminate this pregnancy. And it was my grandmother that said, no, that's not, she would not allow that.
Right.
And so luckily, that's still the era of you listen to your parents. Yeah. Even at 22. So my mother listened to my grandmother, and then she moved to France, and then she had me in France. So I was born there.
And talk to me about your mom had your little brother, gave birth to you, single mom,
Correct.
Building a brand new life in France. Did she have family there?
She did not have family, but she made friends quickly. She had 2 best friends, Aunt Nina and Aunt Mai. And they all met in the same community where French Vietnamese people were coming over and they were getting their paperwork together. And then everybody kind of ventured off to wherever they were going. Right. My Aunt Mai was there already, met my mother. They became friends. And at the time, my mother needed to figure out, how do I work? How do I support my family? And take care of these kids, who can help me. So Mai knew of this family, I call them the Jaspers, and who had a very traditional family, a working husband, a stay-at-home mom, 6 children.
I don't think I realized they had 6 children.
6 children.
Okay.
So the setup was, I think I was 2 months old, and after 2 months, my mother set this arrangement up where this family took care of me and my brother, who at that point was 2 years old. Okay. And yeah, I think...
Were they Vietnamese as well?
They were also Vietnamese and French.
Okay.
They were also Vietnamese and French. So I lived with them till I was maybe 6 or 7.
And your mom did not?
My biological mother did not.
Okay. So it was almost, sort of like adoptive or fostering then?
Yes.
But was your mom still in contact with you all?
She came as often as she could. I don't remember. Okay. I do remember maybe some small memories of seeing her, but just like in English, you have different words for mom.
Sure.
Mom, mother, mommy, ma.
Mm-hmm.
And so my biological mother's name to me was like Mother Lan.
Mm-hmm.
Her Vietnamese name is Lan. So I just thought that was her name.
Right.
Like Mother Lan is a name.
Uh-huh.
And the foster mother, Mother Jaspard, if you will,
Uh-huh.
I would call her mommy. So that's mom.
Got it.
And then Mother Lan would come visit, and she was kind. She brought me gifts, clothes, candy, took me out, and then would leave.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, however, being 2, he knew who his mother was. So I think he only lived with the Jaspards for a year and a half or 2. And I think by the time he was 4, my mother pulled him back.
Okay.
Because he was easier to take care of. And he just missed her.
Right.
So I continued staying at that house with
Good
the
upbringing,
Jaspards.
good
Great,
childhood, all that.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great family.
And so what happened when you got a little bit older?
Yeah.
And then your mom decided she wanted you to come back to live with her.
Yes.
Your birth mother, Mother Lan.
Mother Lan.
Okay.
So Mother Lan would sometimes, if she couldn't make it to Paris, she would ask my sisters from the Jaspards to bring me to Germany to visit. And I think,
So at this point, your mom, Mother Lan, had moved to Germany.
correct.
You were back living with this family, being raised by them in France.
Yes.
And you would see Mother Lan here and there. Always
Correct.
good to you, but just not super involved.
Correct.
6 or 7 years go by, and now...
Yes.
All right, just wanted to set it up. I want
Yeah.
to make sure I got the story right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so my sisters bring me to where my mother was at, Mother Lan
Mhm.
was at. And one of her friends, Aunt Nina, said to her, she said, "Hey, Lan, I don't think Elizabeth knows who you are. Like, I think it's time for you to take her back.
Mm-hmm.
She's old enough. She's not such a needy child anymore." So I went back to France. I think everything, I did not know this. Again, this is like pieces of people telling me the story. Another time she asked my sisters to bring me back, but this time she had the plan of, you cannot take Elizabeth back to France.
Okay.
So my sisters, comply. My mother wanted to see me. Mother Lan wanted to see me. They bring me to Germany. And when it was time to go back to Paris, she kept my passport and she said, "You cannot take Elizabeth back." So they're shocked.
Mm-hmm.
And they go home empty-handed.
Wow. How did you feel about that?
I have little bits of memories about that. I think the first couple of days I was just excited,
Right.
just to be in a different place. You're a kid,
Mm-hmm.
And I was with my biological brother at the time. There was other children of her friends in like this neighborhood.
Right.
So
it's like a little spring break or something for you.
Correct.
Right.
And then I think after a while, I do remember crying.
Mm.
I do remember crying, and I was ready to go home.
Right.
And when my sisters went back home, my mother Jaspard, the one that raised me, I think she was just heartbroken.
Right.
And the whole family was trying to figure out, how do we get Elizabeth back? Like, how do we get Beth back?
Oh,
So
they
they
figured it out.
devised a plan. And, I laugh at it now. And,
Oh, I know.
but so they pretended to take the train back to Germany. They asked my mom if they could come visit me. My mom said yes. She assumed they took the train. And so there was no risk of them taking me back because she held on to my passport.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time, my uncle, Jaspard, on that side, drove them, was waiting outside. They came to visit. They asked if they could take me out to get ice cream. Mother Lan said yes. And they just took me.
Oh, my God. And tell, I remember you saying, how did they get you over the border?
So yes. So crossing the border, I was a tiny 6 or 7 year old. I was sitting behind the passenger seat. They had me down on the floor with my sister's legs above me.
Uh-huh.
I was like between the the seat and the floor.
Sure.
And her legs were hiding me. And I remember them saying, "You cannot make a noise when we go across the border, because if they find you, they're going to keep you."
Mm.
I remember the flashlight being shown in. Like there was
So
a flashlight
scary.
from the Border Patrol.
It's like from a movie. I cannot believe this. So they successfully get you back.
Yes.
And what does Mother Lon do?
Mother Lon figures out what happened. I don't think she knew how they got me back,
Mm-hmm.
but she tried to call them. My family disconnected the phone. I think
Did they
she
have
wrote them.
legal? Were
No.
you legally adopted? No.
No.
Okay.
And eventually, I think 10 days go by from what they tell me. And they said she sent them a telegram.
Mm.
And the telegram said, "You must return her by a week, I don't know, 5 days. And if you don't, I will contact the police."
Okay.
And so they had to return me.
Okay. So I don't think I got that. So was that it then? That was the end of you living with them.
That was the end of me living with them.
So then you moved to Germany.
I moved to Germany with my mom.
That's right. Okay. So that's where you got the Vietnamese. So
Yeah.
you're fluent in Vietnamese, home language, and then
And French was spoken in
because
the
you
house.
grew up there,
Mhm.
and then living in Germany.
Yes.
And so you grew up then the rest of your childhood, teen years in Germany.
Yes.
Okay. And that is where you then met your husband at the
Yes.
DoD school. Okay.
Yes.
Before we get into that though, tell me how did this shape your family dynamic? Because you continued to have a relationship, of course, with Mother Lon, who you then were living with and is your birth mother, and are still close with her today.
Mhm.
But you still maintain a close relationship with the other family. Did they ever work out or
No.
reconcile?
They do not like each other.
Okay.
So that was hard.
Right.
The punishment to the Jasperds was they were not allowed to see me for years.
Wow.
So I remember, and I think they knew this, I remember being 6 or 7 and they were drilling their phone number in my head.
Yeah, I remember you told me.
Because they knew there was going to be a consequence to their action.
Mm-hmm.
But what they didn't tell me is that there's a country code and an area code. So I just knew their phone number, but I couldn't call them because I did not know there was other numbers that belonged.
Yes.
So for years I didn't see them. It was hard.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard when I was young. I think I was very resentful of my mom.
Yeah.
And then Aunt Nina, kept seeing the Jasperds in church when she would keep going back and forth
Mm-hmm.
from Germany to Paris. And they kept begging her to ask my mother, forgive them, let them see me. And I want to say I was 12. So I wasn't allowed to see them, I think, for like almost 5 years.
Yeah.
And then once I was 12 or 13, something like that, she allowed me to go back and visit them. And at that point, I was a little bit rebellious.
The Jaspers were like, get her ass out of here.
No, not to them, but I knew their phone number at this point,
Right.
and I felt like at this point, my Mother Lon was not going to be able to keep me from them.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to visit them no matter what.
Right.
So yeah, I think after that, my mother just couldn't control that end. But
How long is the train from
like
Germany?
4 hours.
Okay. So you could go back and forth to see them, but you were still living and going to school in Germany.
Yes.
All right. But it must have just been pretty amazing for them when you guys reconnected after all that
Yes.
time. I mean, you were there. I can't imagine. I mean, they raised you from infancy.
Yeah.
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 So, but without that legal documentation, I mean, they could have gotten, can you imagine that now? Like if I had somebody's infant that I raised until 6 and that family say moved to Canada or that mother moved to Canada,
Mm-hmm.
she wants to visit with the now 6-year-old child and then doesn't give her back. And I go and take her and cross the border. I mean, that is international.
It is, right?
And now we're laughing about it, but that is insane.
Yeah.
Beth, I told you guys, Beth is such a phenomenal person. I think I would try to kidnap you too. I don't blame them. I do not blame them. So now you're able to see them again, but you're living life in Germany. And let's flash forward to the DoD school. How did you end up at a DoD school?
So my mother married a man. Okay. I call him Mr. Smith. He was in the Army. And so when they married, we were able to go to an American school. And that's how I learned. I learned English.
Okay. So you met your husband at that DoD school. And I think this is a great stopping point for us. We have talked about so many great things with you so far. I mean, the kidnapping story is just amazing to me. Finding out, first of all, that you were French and spoke French was amazing to me. So all the other stuff is just wild. Your COVID experience, becoming a nurse. And on this next half, we're going to talk about your marriage and subsequently divorce and some of the things that have happened in the last couple of years regarding that and how that has changed things for you and your children. So I'm looking forward to following up with that final episode for season 3, guys. And for those of you guys following along, we will be back for season 3 in June. So be sure to follow us on Apple Music and Spotify. And of course, we'll be announcing it here on social. Thanks so much, Beth. We will be back shortly and we can't wait to hear more. We're doing it